Okay, it's just a quick video on bearing I'm replacing on, again, the 2009 Cobalt SS, and this one has the F35 transmission in it. So okay, so the drive shaft itself is okay, CV joints are okay. Wheel bearing is fine because I just replaced that last year with a Moog. I was getting a kind of a in and out kind of droning sound. Just gonna turn the radio off here. Kind of a droning sound while driving the car once I hit like 40 Ks and up. Get this kind of droning that would sort of fade in and out. So I figured the only thing could be at that point is the intermediate shaft bearing. So I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Like you can see, it's quite loose here, and it doesn't feel smooth at all. So when it was under the car, this piece here is bolted to the engine, and actually I'll flip it around the way it is actually in the car here from my point of view here. Okay, so this would be the right side of the car, and then underneath, basically, this separates from the intermediate shaft, kind of like normally, you know, if this went straight into the tranny, usually take a pry bar and pop that out of there. You know, usually just wedge the pry bar against maybe this bolt here and just give it a good push on the pry bar, and it usually just pops it out. But this one wasn't coming out, so I went online. Guys are saying you really got to take a big hammer. So where are we here? Oh yes, liquid wrench as well. Okay, so I had this hammer here. I think it's 32 ounce, I think. And also the pry bar here. So this particular pry bar, it's a snap-on. You can hammer on the end because the shaft goes right through to the end, and you can hammer on it. So I was basically hammering on it, whichever way it went here, under here, I guess. Hammering on it with the big hammer here, and that it was not budging at all. Prying, hammering, no luck. So under that, there's a rubber sleeve there. Got the screwdriver here. Okay, over here. So there's this rubber sleeve, kind of like a boot, I guess. And I think it's designed to just keep the dirt out. So anyways, it spins on the shaft as well. So I propped that out. I stuck in the liquid wrench and sprayed it really good. Just let it keep going. And a whole bunch of rusty, dirty liquid wrenches coming out of it. So I know there's a lot of rust in there. So I think what's happened is just rusted on here really good. That wouldn't really happen going into transmission, because if it went right into the transmission like the driver's side does, it's constantly lubricated by the tranny fluid. So it wouldn't really have an issue popping out. So it can't rust, basically. But that one's rusted in, so I'm going to take this into the tranny shop. Hopefully they can, you know, separate this there, and hopefully it doesn't cost me any more to have them do that. And then they're going to change the bearing. So got a new bearing here, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. So I'll update when I get it back. Okay. Okay, so basically I took this drive shaft and intermediate shaft to a machine shop basically. They also do drivetrains and whatnot. And I kind of jumped the gun as I forgot, new to this YouTube thing, so I forgot to videotape. Basically, this went here. Okay. They couldn't get it off, so they tried heating the housing here, put a big air hammer on here to try to get this drive shaft out from inside the intermediate shaft here. And they couldn't do it. And you can see the marks on here. It's going to show there. Yeah, so you can see the impact. They hit it pretty hard there, and it just wouldn't let go. So I tried it again when I got it back here, and no go again. So also this intermediate shaft apparently is not available anymore. So you can't even get it from the dealer or aftermarket, our local parts store here. I haven't checked online elsewhere, but I want to try to at least salvage this because it's not going to be easy to get. And this I can get one of those for anywhere between 100 and 150 bucks Canadian. Anyways, so now I should be able to get this rubber boot off. It's like a dust boot, I guess. And a collar. And that bearing's definitely toast. Closer here. It's been a while since I've used my camcorder. I'm kind of switching between the camcorder and the phone video. So I'm going to see if I can take that snap ring off it there. Kind of thinking this bearing might be pressed on there. Let's see if I can punch that off. I kind of like working on cars, but don't like getting my hands dirty. Go figure that. Okay, so well, it's moving. Yep. That is done. So we got a new bearing here. The machine shop really wrapped that up good. Okay, so hopefully I can maybe find something I can use to hammer that back on. In the meantime, I got to do something about what's left of the drive shaft still in here. So there's usually a snap ring that holds the drive shafts in, and this one might be jammed up too. So Let's see if it'll tap in a bit. I might have moved a bit. This stuff, okay. So liquid wrench, there's all sorts of penetrating fluids around. I did see somebody did a video of different penetrating lubricants, and looked like a pretty thorough test, and still looks like liquid wrench was the best of the bunch. So okay, so I'm gonna stick with it. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do at this point is apply some heat and see if that helps. Maybe what I could try is creating a bit of a shelf there, so that it might give me something better to try to hammer onto there. So let's do that and see if that helps. Well, I hate to say it, but I think I've been beat. I think I've been beat. So next step is to go online, see if I can find one online that's in good condition, and get that and a new drive shaft and put that in. Okay, so I managed to find a used intermediate shaft. This is my original, and I found a used one. I had to, yeah, it wasn't easy to find it. I called around to different wreckers and nobody seemed to have one. And then I contacted, just going to do a bit of a shout out here, I contacted a place, I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I contacted Parts of Cars. Yeah, Parts of Cars, I don't know if I can read that here. Partsofcars.net, I guess. I spoke to Amanda there, and she was really good. She was very helpful, and I guess she, you know, puts out feelers and whatnot to find out who has the shaft and where. I don't know how she does it, but she managed to find it, and the price is very reasonable, so yeah, I'm very happy about that. And it looks like it's the same part here. I just got to take the old bearing off this one as well, and then put the new one on. And by the way, I'm not getting any money or any swag of any kind from Parts of Cars. It's just when you see good service and a bit above and beyond, you know, you want to mention it, because too many times when something goes bad, people will mention that, you know, and when they get bad service, it always seems to get mentioned, and when you get good service, it doesn't seem to get mentioned as much. So anyways, yeah, again, Amanda at Parts of Cars was excellent to deal with, so, and the prices were very reasonable. I got a drive shaft from there and very competitive, so yeah. Anyways, so I'm going to take off the old bearing housing here. It's like these these snap ring pliers don't actually open them up quite enough. This one seems to do better. The other one wasn't quite opening up enough. Okay. Okay, that went on okay. The bearing feels good. Okay, so this is one of the key things here. I'm going to get some anti-seize. Just going to get a bit in the, goes quite a ways in there. But I want to make sure I get enough in there to make sure this isn't going to be a problem again. Okay. All right, well, let's get it installed. Okay. So I'm going to put some anti-seize on that. Also another important thing is the snap ring here. It's kind of just a loose ring. This is kind of, well, this is really what holds the shaft in to the transmission, or in this case the intermediate shaft. So it's a good idea to put some grease on that, or in my case anti-seize, because this is actually not going in the tranny, it's going into the intermediate shaft. So I don't want this ever sticking into that intermediate shaft. And if these are, if these are snapped in properly, they should never come out. Just gonna get a bit of anti-seize on the ring there. So what you want to try to do is get enough grease on the ring here so the ring will stay centered, not already on camera there. Okay, not too far to one side, and make sure it's just holding in there, kind of centered. That way it'll go in the easiest, because sometimes they'll jam if they're not centered, if they're kind of kinked. They'll jam. Okay. All right. And I'm going to put some on the other side as well, on the hub side. I don't seem to make these brushes long enough. I never get to the bottom of the container. right, let's put it in. Okay, so new plan to get this installed in the car, and see how that goes. So I have a hard time getting, let's get the camera over here, getting this snapped all the way into the intermediate shaft while it's in the car. So I think what I'll do is try to get it snapped in there outside of the car on the bench and then put the whole thing in. There we go, I think I got a lock in the splines there at least. There we go. Okay, so the shaft's in. Mostly I just gotta, if I can get the camera under here, get the ball joint pushed up in there and the pinch bolts put through, and then get the axle nut on here, and then top up the tranny fluid because some came out when I took the shaft out, and put the wheels back on, and yeah, should be good to go. Okay, so I'm going to top up the tranny fluid. Okay, and topping up the fluid, basically you just pump fluid in until it starts coming out the hole that you're pumping it into. Okay, so finished getting the shaft in, the tranny fluid topped up. Kind of couldn't record the very end of it because I ran out of time on my camcorder there on my SD card, so I didn't have any more space available at the time, so I just finished off topping up the fluid and getting the wheels on, and drove the car. It drives well, no problems at all. So anyways, for future reference for anybody who has a Cobalt, you know, this intermediate shaft, I'm not sure if it's on other models other than the SS. I'm not even sure if it's if this part is on the supercharged ones or not. It might be the same transmission, so it might be. But yeah, getting that out might be nearly impossible on some of them, depending on your situation. If you're in an area where there's a lot of rust, that probably could be a very much a problem to get that out of there. So something to be aware of. Yeah. And I don't know if I could have got some more, you know, penetrant in there and let it sit for a while longer. It's hard to get in though because it has that rubber boot on it. But you know, if you could somehow work your way in there with it and yeah, try to let it penetrate for a while. So yeah, that's the thing with the Cobalts. The parts are GM's, discontinuing some of the parts now. The parts are getting harder to find. So yeah, they don't make cars to be on the road forever. They're kind of more disposable nowadays. So yeah, if you want to keep a car for a long time, it's a bit harder. So yeah, and that's it. So yeah, anybody wants to comment on it, any questions, I'll try to get back to you on that, and that's it. Thanks.